Do it.
Hey, happy Friday. Welcome into the Dean and Korp podcast. I'm Korp.
I'm Dean.
And we're here to talk a little aliens today.
Yeah.
Before we do, a couple quick things I want to say is this week the podcast will be on Wednesday if you're watching live.
Yeah.
So it might be out a little sooner than normal. We got a little celebration Friday. Dean's birthday, so
turning 30. And then Justin's son's birthday is on the 29th.
Yeah, so we got a big weekend ahead of us, so it's just better off we got the episode out right away. So.
Yeah, we wanted to get it out in the middle of the week.
But let's get into it, man.
Yeah.
This is a fun episode this week.
Yeah, aliens, man. I like I'll prefix a lot of this alien talk with I only really know, what I was exposed to, as a kid growing up with sci-fi aliens and stuff like that, and
I think that's where most people are with aliens now these days.
Yeah.
I think my sister saw E.T. when she was
those
that was the
Hollywood aliens.
And
yeah,
that's what I'm trying to say. Trending in that direction. So yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can go with this aliens.
Yeah. So I want to say, let's start off with fun ones, always just ancient aliens. I like that a lot.
Well, there's a lot of things you can do with that. Because we don't know, the unknown makes it so much more interesting. Just like the future stuff.
Yeah,
like aliens in the future, are they just waiting for us to
or do we become something like that? There's a lot saying that maybe because we see aliens that are small in stature with these really pointy arms that don't have much bone structure, because if you live that long in space, your bone density would just decrease, right? So they just evolve into a different being.
The big thing that I've heard by physicists was the gravity from different planets. They're we just can't go to any planet and be fine and breathe their air. There's so many other factors that even just going to Mars, there's different gravity densities, all these different factors that
could you imagine the Dragon Ball Z scenario of going to somewhere else where the gravity's 8 times higher than Earth's? Crush your bones.
Yeah.
You just step off.
Even what was that movie where that guy went down to the planet and 15 minutes went by, but it was actually 7 years or something like that. Or maybe it was 40 years. I think it was Interstellar.
Oh, was that Interstellar?
Yeah, one of the crew guys, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I believe that's why
I didn't see Interstellar, so I said
because
it
because of the gravity or whatever the situation was.
Yeah,
that it was more time than what it felt like.
That could totally be plausible. I mean, think time's relative, and
that's I guess
why,
a whole other topic.
Yeah, why couldn't it work out? Oh, geez.
Yeah.
But on the subject of ancient aliens, I've always dug the idea because it sounds a little plausible because there's so much about the prehistory we don't know, right? We even get it. We talk we're on the cusp of the Graham Hancock thing. I got Justin into it a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, definitely in that rabbit hole right now.
I love Graham Hancock. I'll shout out his work any day of the week. I just finished one of his books, the one on just North American civilization and prehistory North America. And that's fascinating enough on its own, not to mention when you take all of world history. But you could also apply the same theory of all of his work to ancient aliens. You could say, it was this pre-culture of humankind who got wiped off the face of the earth by a comet. Or in the more fun aspect, I got really lost in Anunnaki stuff. I thought that shit was cool. Have you ever done any research on
some of it? But I get a lot of it kind of meshed together. So depending on where I'm seeing the content.
Okay.
So it's not but I get the gist of it. Obviously there's different things, and is it really smart humans from a time that or is it these aliens that literally came down and showed? But my big thing with that is, why haven't they come back?
Well, so one of the theories on Anunnaki, and I'm gonna butcher the fuck out of this. I know I'm gonna butcher it so hard, but so there's this cat named Zachariah Sitchin who translated a bunch of ancient texts from Sumeria. And these Sumerian texts were said to just contain the story of creationism for the world, right? And it talked about this culture called the Anunnaki. And the Anunnaki came from the heavens, and they came and they spliced the human genome with, they took their DNA and primate DNA, a lower hominid, and mixed them together to make an asexual race of slaves to mine the earth for gold, because they were on. Have you heard anything about the 10th planet in our solar system that they found, or the new 9th planet that's on a way bigger ellipsis than we thought it was? It's it's still in our solar system. We thought it was something else for a long time. So they're saying that planet, and they knew about this planet back then in the story. They're saying that planet is called Nibiru or Nibu or something like that, was on the verge of destruction. And the only way to protect the atmosphere at the time was to harvest the gold from Earth, and gold has the properties in the atmosphere to reflect like the harsh radiation of the sun or like whatever when they pass by it in that like giant loop of theirs.
Okay.
So they came to Earth and they did that, and they enslaved. They started a human race, but then eventually, like one of the scientists kept gene splicing humans and gave them the ability to reproduce. Then we fought back as humans.
Isn't it easier if they can reproduce themselves?
Exactly.
Rather than having to keep doing this.
Resources, right?
Yeah.
Like when you think about it,
you're just mass producing.
Dude, that story was captivating when I
got into it. I like the way that sounds. That definitely gives you like a twist where okay, I can see that being somewhat plausible because like, there is a world where all of these things happened. You know, or
are you talking like parallel universe?
No, just like okay, there was a prehistory with the humans being elite, and then the thing, but then aliens were still like a part of it. Like Mars maybe had people there or whatever creatures, or sentient life, but because it's like less inhabitable now, maybe that's something that like they found a way to get here, like a Krypton type thing. You know,
they figured out how to get their genes to survive, and when they went by the sun too closely, they burnt up, or like. There's the thing that like with the Toward meteor stream.
Man, wouldn't that be like a bad way to die? Is just like be too close to the sun because you're on Earth, and it's just like.
But like because the rotation of your year is so long around the solar system, it's like enough to almost like grow life in, like or something. No, I mean that'd be crazy. I think it's only like a 2,000 year hoop around the solar system, which is like way longer than any of our planets, right? That go around the sun.
Yeah.
But it's interesting, man. The Anunnaki thing really got me for a second. And Anunnaki translated the Graham Hancock story because I learned that a lot of the prehistory stuff that Ancient Aliens, the show, all of the stuff they present is all stuff based off Graham Hancock's work. Like Graham stopped going on there at some point because like they can't just apply aliens to everything, but like they can. Not? Yeah, I mean, I think it's super interesting to think that
it's definitely cool to kind of like think like how because. If you have an out, they either died off or the gold was successful.
Yeah,
that's why they didn't come back.
Yeah,
it's sensible,
and that's why we have such an asphyxiation with gold. Like human kind is.
I think I asked you that.
Our asphyxiation, affection.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Love gold.
Yeah, humans love gold.
I was asking people why. It's like it's gold. I'm like,
what do you mean?
Not an answer.
But it is. It's so like it's in here.
So it means nothing.
All precious stones and materials mean nothing. We give value to it instead of money.
But like. Different things add value. Wood, cement.
Like, there's real value in those things.
Like,
that's what you're saying.
In like materials that we can use.
Gold, we've just always had like this. I mean,
we need to, and then I can buy a whole group of people, or I can like I can change the world with this gold that means that you want a necklace.
Yeah, because you want to show it off to
because you want to go give it to a female. And have babies.
I mean, everything. If you really want to, this is a whole nother podcast. But I'm a firm believer in the fact that, like
we're hunters because we want to go get. we want to kill the animal, bring it back to the
impress the lady that I just fed the whole tribe. Look at me. I just fed the whole tribe. So reproduce with me. It's just you could argue every skyscraper ever built by man or woman was all in effort to impress the opposite sex.
Yeah.
You could argue.
And we say opposite sex, but impress whatever.
Yeah, but I'm definitely men for women. Like men will do crazy shit. Yeah. We'll build skyscrapers, the dam. We'll like run.
Motivated by love, we do a lot of things. Especially
go to war.
Uncertain love.
Oh yeah.
Like where like you think about it, you wish, you hope about it.
Yeah.
But like it's not even like you might not even have the girl.
Helen of Troy.
Yeah.
I mean, like war fought over a woman.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean.
That's just one. But like think about all the brutally slain women that like men went to war for.
Oh yeah, for sure.
After the fact,
could you imagine if your village got raided when you were out hunting, and then your family was killed, and you're like, for love, always for love, at some level.
Like I mean,
but definitely,
and that's where good movies start
in a raunchy sense for the puss. Like men will do anything to.
I mean, that's a huge storyline for movies, though. Or books or anything fantasy. Like I can think of like I'm going through the Rolodex in my head, and there's like Beastmaster, like way back in the day.
What if that's what the aliens are doing? Just trying to impress? What if they like?
It's like what's that from? They go in the future. It's a cartoon, Futurama.
Oh, Futurama,
and the aliens that are always watching Earth, and they're like, he's always trying to impress.
He's always trying to impress her by destroying Earth. Like he's like, I'm gonna destroy. What is it? Omicron Persei? The fucking his name is Emperor, whatever. Anyway, so like he's always trying to impress his wife by like killing humans and blowing up planets.
I mean, that's obviously in our world's content, but that's still
but
it holds true across all cultures.
Power and all that,
especially the more primitive you get.
Yeah.
More likely that you can see that more plainly.
Yeah.
Like roles, the further you go back, the roles are very more distinguished in harsher ways, like between men and women, and then groups of men and races and stuff like that. Whereas we should be coming to a pinnacle, hopefully soon.
Ideally, where we all start to get on the same page. Yeah.
Well, let's stop squabbling. There's nothing better to do, and let's stop wasting lives on war when we could be maybe protecting our atmosphere.
Yeah, that involves everybody learning from day one to be objective and rational and not ingrained and rigid.
Yeah, but that's hard because we have political, religious, and other people's got means.
There's so many opinions.
There's agendas.
It's a lot of opinions.
And I would like to see us more like a Star Trek in the future.
Yeah, man.
Where maybe it would have to be mixed, kind of. What's that one with all the bugs?
Starship Troopers.
Yeah, so it'd have to be a mix of that because you're gonna have some level of military.
If you're just venturing off into the universe,
you gotta have some kind of protection. So I would feel like at first it'd be a lot more like the Starship Troopers worked its way into this is what we want, but I feel like
Star Trek has to come a little bit before Starship Troopers because it takes your envoy getting destroyed for you to be nah, and then sending your troops out. Right?
Yeah, but yeah, it's a catch-22.
Yeah,
which chicken or the egg? Because you really think humans aren't just going to go attack the first civilization?
Of course we are.
What are the chances the first alien race we see we're at war with versus being allies with? And what's the chances?
They'd have to be so much more powerful than us.
What happens about the second one? Because if we're allies with one, are we always going to be allies?
No,
we're not good at that.
No,
we're not, and that's how.
Because we're going to be we'll be your buddies. We'll teach us your technology.
We're going to end up in a galactic war we didn't even know about.
Well, because we're just going to think we're better. Yeah. Because humans, we just got ego.
Speaking of galactic war, there's a good book by Scott Sigler. It's about football, but it's its own genre in Earth's future, where there's alien races that have a galactic football league.
Oh,
go around different planets, and there's the racist planet where the main guy's from, so you see it all from this perspective. And they're racist to all these things, but as he meets and gets to know them, they become friends. Just a good story would after 5-6 books. Of course. But it's it's a cool
galactic
perspective.
Football?
Yeah, GFL. Scott Sigler does a great job with that stuff. He's got a bunch of stuff. He's got a series about a pandemic that's actually feels like it's real.
Oh yeah.
And then it's a Sigler verse.
Our kind of pandemic.
Kind of. It's way more alien based.
Oh, okay, yeah, an alien pandemic.
It's a hive minded.
Oh, so these are all alien based books.
Yeah, I haven't read all his books. I read the whole series of the GFL and then the pandemic series.
You have to send me that on Discord.
Yeah, I really like it. I would recommend it on even their catches is it's Blindside meets Star Wars meets Godfather.
Blindside meets Star Wars. That's pretty fucking sweet.
That's a cool combo.
I definitely how you do it from Jabba the Hutt's point of view.
Is you have to get through the first hour and 30 minutes. I don't want to tell you. It's
probably
the
building?
2 or 3 chapters. Well, you don't meet your main character right away. It has to set the table.
Yeah, okay.
And then once you start getting from his POV, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like you can't say POV without
it's about porn.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Yeah. I try to throw that stuff in there every once in a while.
Yeah, just I hear it. It's that's just an instant trigger.
You say moist, some people go straight to that. Or other people cringe. We just lost anybody listening.
Yeah, right. They just
Is anybody in the chat?
We should check that, man.
We missed somebody last week.
No.
Okay.
No.
All right.
Well, speaking of that, because the reason we probably don't have any viewers is because they got abducted.
Yeah,
I would imagine we gotta sit in the camera.
Do you think there are people still getting abducted?
Yeah, I do. I think abductions.
So are we getting abducted and then brought back down in the middle of the night, where like how we used to see on those it was way easier to do on cable TV.
Yeah.
This tech. But you could really get some people scared, man. I think, and this goes with the government part of it too. But
yeah,
they don't want people in masses to freak out, because what happens when people freak out? They rob, they steal.
Yeah, for sure.
They think
if the government
we have no groceries.
Yeah.
you know, like jobs are shut down because like people are in hysteria and they're like scared. So that's why, especially in the 60s, 70s, 80s, when technology didn't happen yet like it is now.
Okay.
You know, like
It's
now,
true.
now you can't smother it.
So so I'm gonna play two things into one thing. I told you earlier one of the topics was like fairy abductions.
Yeah.
And then alien abductions. I think they run hand in hand because I thought it was really intriguing when in like earlier centuries, like 16th, 17th century, 18th century, people reported being abducted by fairies. Like the fairies took me into the forest and they took me into this magical wonderland, and then all of a sudden I woke up in the middle of the forest the next day and my whole fucking memory changed. Change fairies to aliens.
The dad in me is telling me that they ate some mushrooms.
Well, okay.
And they ate some bad food.
And then a lot of people attribute like alien abductions to like, were you on drugs? Like, you know, like were you on medicine? Were you sleeping? Were you lucid dreaming? They always say it happens in their sleep. I woke up and then there was a presence in the room.
Might be actually more closer to what the truth is lucid dreaming, and it feels so real and you don't realize what it is.
I really think that I would say 85, 90, even as high as 95% of them are that. I think people are having really intense lucid dreams,
especially if
they don't know how to.
If you drastically change your diet, if you go from smoking weed to stop smoking weed, those dreams are gnarly.
Yeah,
those are crazy.
Dude.
Those 3 nights in a row.
That's why I keep smoking weed. I'm just like outside. I just haven't stopped. I'm afraid of the dreams,
dude. It really is a thought of mine, like knowing if I have to like stop for like a
I've been dialing back a lot since I started doing the construction, and like I'm down to like, like minimal. This is probably the most weed I smoked for like all week.
Yeah.
And like I probably won't dream tonight, but during the week I'll catch these really vivid dreams. And I'm like, nope. And they'll wake me up at 4 a.m, 3 a.m. I'm like, no, I gotta go back to sleep.
See, that's when you just gotta trick your mind. Like, instead of saying no, say yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
just keep going. I know.
Just go down the rabbit hole.
Full send.
Because what's the worst that happens? You get a little sweaty, you wake up.
They're like, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, right. I guess you're right.
Like if you remember,
you just feel a little freaked out, man.
I know. But that's when you got to be like, I'm with my girl. I can't be the first to run.
Yeah. All right.
You know, like yeah, I know that moment all too well. But listen to last week's episode. But.
So do you think that people get abducted like at all, like genuinely?
No. If I was being honest with you,
like 100%.
100%. Like no. Like if they were being abducted, it's because humans are awful people and they're doing it.
Okay, but so maybe there's a percent then. Like,
do you abduction is happening by aliens? I don't know how truthful that is.
Okay.
Because abduction, people are getting traded. Like people,
okay. I'm talking the alien specific abduction phenomenon where people say I was abducted by aliens and came back. I'm not. If you got abducted, you probably
gone.
You're gone. You got kidnapped.
So the abduction and return.
The abduction and return. Do you think these people are like lying? There's like I'm sorry.
I really do.
Do you think there's like a mass phenomena or like anything like that?
I think that a lot of it is just trying to use excuses to get out of whatever problem they're trying to solve. So like if I get in trouble, if I know that this person, if I'm cheating, I gotta find an excuse. Oh, it's the aliens that took me away.
I get you. Okay.
So like there's maybe like more of a logical, like per instance, and then if you break that down, say there's 10,000 and you get it down to 100, and we're like really narrowing it down case by case. I believe that there's probably more of a logical excuse. Now, when you start talking about the picture stuff, it's just like, why isn't it happening now? When cameras are good.
Yeah.
Cameras are good now, and I don't see those pictures that I've seen on like Unsolved Mystery type stuff and like that kind of early 90s footage.
Well, I think a lot more. So
how much is it the camera? You
know? You're right. You're not wrong. But I don't know. Are we looking for it in the same way anymore? Those cheesy 90s shows are off TV now. So now what you got to find
is hear what I'm not saying. I believe in aliens.
Yeah.
It's not that I don't believe. That's not what I'm saying. I strongly believe there's other sentient life out there.
Yeah.
But maybe it's harder to travel than we think.
Okay.
And so like maybe if they did come, it was some of us stayed, some of us didn't. And they had a life expectancy. Maybe they were a little bit longer. That's why they were worshipped, because like more generations got to see them. Because on Earth, maybe they were like, oh, I can last to 150 Earth years, when really at home it's like 40 whatever.
Yeah, so you think they're coming here to get Like,
well, I don't think they meant to come here.
Okay.
So like if they like came down here and they knew how to like use agriculture and get the ground and like they could show that to somebody, they
just showed it to
you just grew this out of the ground, bro.
Yeah,
like
crazy.
like
just changed the game.
Yeah, like and I can eat this and I'm nourished. I don't gotta go.
Well, so like the biggest difference between us and like most other animals in the world is that we cook our food. I mean, that's the number one difference. And when you cook food, you could take a pound of like, raw beef and break it down to its core calories and protein. But when it's cooked, all of those things increase. All of them. They just scale up. So like that, eating just that, getting more calories, access to more nutrients is like, it's critical. Like, so what's to say of like other, I guess I don't know where I kind of lost my train of thought.
You're good. But like what I was thinking is like, what if that's some religions you don't eat meat, eat certain types of things? What if they come down and like, dude, stop eating that?
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Yeah, that's bad.
Like you're only getting what they're eating anyway. Just eat this.
Yeah. Well, I mean, some of those ancient sciences, like how do you cultivate like that? Yeah. Like how do you find those grains? And like, I mean, years of trial and error could be argued, but they tell us civilization popped up like that. Like one day we were hunter-gatherers, the next day we were building cities like it was going out of style.
I need to look more into the timeline of all this, so that way I'm going down this thought pattern, and some of it's like, oh, I could turn this into like a cool story.
Yeah.
For somebody to like, we could enjoy this story one day. But in the same sense, it's like there's a lot that like makes sense.
Yeah.
And if it times up, it's like, okay, because these smart people were able to see this comet coming towards Earth.
Yeah.
We were able to get on a boat or make shelter or get to high
build
ground.
Noah's Ark or find a cave or whatever they did.
And say you knew in 1 year.
Yeah.
So how much time you had, so when do you know, as far as somebody with that technology base, like maybe they knew like this is, we can't fly like into space yet.
Well, what if aliens saw our world? What if ancient aliens had seen our world and went, you guys are about to get fucking destroyed. So we're going to help you build these ancient monoliths and these ancient city. Like, we're going to teach you some of these things before you guys.
Well, at that point, why didn't you just help us survive?
How are you going to help us dodge a comet if the Younger Dryas comet impact is real, to say that like the last ice age ended because our world got hit by a comet and then plunged us into like 1,200 years of chaos? Like that's a whole big thing that you'll learn more of that when you get deeper into Graham Hancock. What he really starts harping on is about like that 12,800 years ago, because that's the biggest argument for the ancient aliens too, is that a lot of it points back to like 12,800 years ago. So like the two frames of thought for like ancient aliens or ancient civilization theory, they just take each other's facts and just fucking mix them up. They're like, we can use this. It's all the same material.
No, but theory is like that, but you got to welcome that in order to get to the answer or the solution.
I hope they do. I hope people do. That's what I mean. Like, you got to be open to all of it to understand where's the bullshit. Because I kind of get what you're saying on go back to abductions. Like, yeah, maybe it's bullshit. Like, maybe they're bullshit because why are they just picking up humans and dropping them back off?
And some of these people I see are like, come on. Like, they got this person that's like completely isolated.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
But that's a great person to get. Like, if you're really going from an abduction standpoint, you're trying not to get caught, you go for that solo person driving in Montana, like 1 in the morning.
You got,
and then that's it. You just zoom them up and
but
put them back.
Isn't it so much easier to say, hey, I got picked up by aliens. I wasn't drinking and driving.
Yeah.
I
mean, when you really look at the real people, I mean,
but you have to individualize it. You have to take it and
break
it down case by case.
I think there's certain cases, because I'm trying to recall. I just watched something with Joe Rogan does a podcast with this dude who wrote a book about Bob Lazar, or did a documentary about Bob Lazar, and then is working with the journalist who first broke the Bob Lazar story. Do you know about the Bob Lazar stuff?
You're
good. Bob.
No, I don't.
Bob Lazar. So watch that podcast.
The name sounds familiar.
Joe Rogan and Bob Lazar. Bob Lazar is the only reason we know about Roswell. Like the only reason that Roswell. Okay. I'm sorry, not Roswell. Area 51.
Okay.
Roswell happened. So the story goes is that he was a scientist. Not even a scientist. I mean, he got college degrees, but he understood jet propulsion in the 80s. Like nobody understood jet propulsion. He turned like his car into a rocket-powered car that wouldn't explode. Like
the government was after him.
Yeah, the government was like, you clearly understand something about jet propulsion. Like, okay, so let me bring you into our top secret facility. Check out what we got. Here's this little piece of technology. It does this, but how would you back engineer it? How would you reverse? Here's an alien rocket, reverse engineer it, and turn it into something that we understand. Because what you would want to do if you found alien technology that crash landed on Earth, you'd want to learn how to reverse engineer it so that you could work it and you could use it on your own.
You would assume that technology, the Independence Day 2 type thing.
Yeah, exactly.
See the movie, but I understand the premise of it, where they reverse engineer over the last however many years, and then they can use it on the alien.
And so ideally, that's what you want. And maybe.
But it's all war based. That's the problem.
Always war based.
Why can't it be to communicate with them and understand their language? Wouldn't that be way more smart?
Oh yeah, but you know why?
Because we're humans.
Because yeah, dude. I mean,
it's just human nature.
We're doomed to repeat that over and over and over. History is absolutely.
I have faith that a generation that's coming with my son and those kids that are being born more,
for sure,
that like they shouldn't have to deal with all the BS. It should be, we should be worried about the economy, or not the economy, the environment.
Yeah,
and the environment,
about saving our world,
the future. Like, look, why not? Because like the things that you can do for those things are everyday good things.
Yes, I agree.
I mean, like throwing out your trash, not throwing your mask on the ground, not like doing those
things.
Taking
care of your community, taking care of each other.
Take a little pride in we weren't. I don't know about you, but like it was like parents were grinding.
Yeah,
parents were grinding. And they didn't know better. I mean, we were in the era of cigarettes still being smoked in hospitals.
Yeah, man. I mean, we have information though now.
Yeah,
like we have the access to information has only ever gone up, right? The percentage, the access as humans become more interconnected, the access to information from day one of civilization till now we're at the pinnacle.
And at some point, ignorance is bliss, and I understand that.
But now ignorance is almost unexcusable. That's the problem with information.
If you're Andy Dwyer from Parks and Rec, and you're happy-go-lucky, and you're not paying attention to the news ever, okay, but like,
he doesn't mean you have to be out intelligent.
He's not the one that's we're voting for.
My parents aren't gonna watch this. We can just like smoke with it.
They're like seeing us. But I forgot where we were going with that. We'll take a... Anyways, what's the next topic for
let's talk a little bit more about aliens. I think we ended up on abductions
because I think a lot of government stuff is very similar.
I wrote government cover up here,
very similar to like religious stuff.
Yeah,
where it's like a way to get the masses to not suck.
Well, like, could you imagine what is the government gain if they tell us that aliens are real, and what do they lose if they tell us that aliens are real? Like, so what do they get? They have every reason to cover it up because it's just another thing that they can use against other countries to maintain control.
Well, that's a huge thing because I think we're both of the mind that if an alien race were to come here and attack us, and it was game on,
Earth v alien, we're like homies all day.
Now, how many? Someone said this, and then then we team up with the rest of the Earth. And then the Americans win the day. Like just like an ignorant statement, but like something we're definitely gonna do. Someone, if it's not us, it's another country, but they're gonna claim the victory.
Yeah.
And like, guess what? If everything's destroyed, the winners get to write history from that point on. Yeah. That's a scary notion.
I mean, but it really just depends on what country survived most likely in the war with the aliens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot
of. So if you're aliens, like, who do you attack right now? When you look at the world strategically, back off from the politics. Like the scariest country in the world is China.
Wouldn't it be less about countries and people? Because you could put us in the chaos by just like blowing up anything, but it'd be like
you could devastate us by
like taking out all our like weapons,
electricity,
turn
off the electricity,
hit every DTE in America or whatever. That's the other ones across.
GG,
or our water supply.
Yeah,
you could make us kill ourselves real like that.
Oh yeah, easy. You just shoot a couple laser beams from space. So like, yeah, that's the argument too, that if you're a super advanced alien race, you could easily,
because we're probably
just destroy our infrastructure. We're so infrastructure based. What did COVID teach us? Buy toilet paper when aliens invade, because there's not going to be anything left when you shit in your pants. Like you're going to be like, That's what I kept making that joke when COVID came. Like when COVID first happened, everyone bought all the toilet paper. I was like, was everyone just shitting themselves? Like, this is going crazy, man. I can't stop shitting, man. Like, I didn't understand. Like, it was toilet paper, then bullets, and I felt like Americans would definitely go bullets first, and we definitely went toilet paper first.
Yeah, I went ice cream.
Did you?
Yeah.
How much ice cream?
The first time I went, I got 3 pints. And 2 of them.
Oh, just the little pints like that?
No, what is that? 2 pints?
I don't know if that's a half.
Whatever. It was the family size, like
For
not
sure.
the industrial like Costco size, but like a regular size, full size ice cream. We got 3 of them, and they didn't last a week. That's how I got to 200 pounds.
You ate all that ice cream, like just all this heavy cream, and
what do they call it? The COVID-19.
Yeah, they're stupid. You're dad jokes. Dad jokes. Best farter.
My second Theo's second Father's Day. I think I got this.
Nice.
He doesn't. He still doesn't.
He's turning 4 after.
Yeah, it'll be 4. It's gonna be great.
Oh yeah, dude.
With the government stuff, we might have to.
Oh, we fucking missed it.
All right, give us a second, YouTube.
No.
Wonder why we missed it.
Yeah, turned off the.
All right, so we're talking government, alien conspiracies here.
Yeah, like government cover-ups.
Cover-ups, because conspiracies. They're definitely some deep cover stuff. Because like, if we have an Area 51, we cannot be the only continent to have an Area 51.
That's what I'm saying. That like we think of it as an American problem, but like UFO sightings are a worldwide phenomenon. So like if sightings are a worldwide phenomenon and abductions are a worldwide phenomenon, like isn't there something to the whole phenomenon? Like the whole world making it up because simultaneously sounds crazy.
No, because it's just natural to look up in the sky and wonder what if.
Yeah, I get that.
And that's how we get all our stories about gods and everything.
Oh, yeah.
And like,
what if all the gods were just aliens?
I think it's more likely that some of them might have been and not all of them.
Yeah.
So like the Greek gods seem like those are stories passed down that are about like
those kind of explain thunder and lightning and happy days and rainy days.
Thunder, yeah, I guess they do with the
like they explain nature.
Yeah, like a lot of them are like they're real like Gaia is the earth and like what's the guy that rides the chariot. Ares, isn't it? Whatever. There's different ones. Ares is the war.
Yeah.
But like, there's different. I mean, it's a fun topic. They got some stuff on Disney Plus about it. So I was like, well, not about the gods, but about Greece and and some of that. But it's a cool. But like the Thor gods.
Yeah.
And the Netherlands and the Vikings.
The Norwegian gods.
Yeah. Like those really tie in very similarly with those the Greek gods.
Yeah.
If you kind of compare what they're actually
a lot of those
meanings are.
Do.
And but it's like it means stuff. It's like an explanation to something that you don't understand. And that's how I always took it when I was younger.
Well, that's what a lot of religion is. And when you look at religion subjectively or objectively rather, and you see kind of how it operates, all it does is explain the rhyme and the reason of like the way things happen. When a more scientific approach, I guess, would be to just
very simple. Let's go to 1 BC or 1 BC.
Yeah.
Or
0.
Right in that gap there.
Yeah.
So people's like life expectancy 16 to 18.
Yeah.
Maybe 20 max. Like you're not getting years on your life. Plight and famine and disease are like spreading, and there's no medicine.
Yeah.
And like you don't have any hope. And so, like, you see all these people around you dying in the streets, and you want something to believe in that, like, their bodies and their souls are ascending somewhere, and they're just not just bodies and corpses. And, like, it's human nature to want that for the people you care about.
So you'll explain it with anything.
And so somebody maybe comes along and exploits that and says, maybe it's about food, maybe it's about shelter, maybe it's just because they're, like, a sociopath.
Yeah.
Maybe it's all of the above. Maybe it's about riches. But like at some point, you can start to see exploitation in the church, specifically the Christian church, because I can't speak to other churches. But like whether it's like little boys or money.
Yeah.
But any type of rape like goes on in churches. Like there's a lot of dark stuff where these people are supposed to be the best of the best people anointed by God.
Yeah.
And they're scumbags.
And they're doing the worst shit.
Yeah.
I don't think it started off as negatively as you said, but I definitely think it's ending as negative.
Yeah, and maybe that's where my thought process is now, so it's hard to look past that.
I think in the beginning, a lot of what it was is like ritualistic, like acid trips almost. Like you could really say a lot of it was like them eating some sort of magic mushroom or like ayahuasca. Religious shaman or religious persons of the tribe would practice literally tripping out, because when you trip out, it lets you touch the other side. And that's where I think a lot of like alien stuff might even come from, because when you start talking psychedelics and like this strong human cultural tie to psychedelics, like is in every culture and is very prevalent, it's almost to me a travesty. Like I mean, I'm definitely repeating the words of Graham Hancock right now, but like it's a travesty that things that free your mind and free your way of thought are illegal, and then like a minimum like 10 years, right? Like I mean, maybe not minimum 10 years.
I think one thing he was talking, Graham Hancock was talking about, was the DMT that is like prevalent in like pictures and art.
Yeah.
And like it's a certain plant, and so like it's there.
Yeah. And
it's like a way to open your mind to see things, but like it could also be very bad for you. And that's something
but that's under poor supervision. And if our culture embraced psychedelics, I'm not talking to any other drugs. I'm speaking specifically to psychedelics and the strong human tie to expanding your mind. And like this is a rite of passage amongst a lot of tribal cultures. And you become enlightened at a certain age when they stick peyote in your mouth and you go trip in the fucking desert for 72 hours. But what that does for the human soul, I think, is very good, because like my first mushrooms experience like changed my life. It changed my frame of thought. It made me a kinder person. It made me really focus on what I wanted to become, how I wanted to treat others around me, how I wanted to like view my lifestyle, right? And like before that, I had never even become in tune with any of that. And then all of my other following acid trips or like mushrooms trips, I took a lot more seriously and a lot more spiritually. And I was able to just like grow from those and become like a little more patient, a little more kind after every time. And I think that kind of stuff, like the way I feel like it does is it balances the chemicals in your brain. And it makes you feel. I've also had really bad trips too, though, man.
Like you're saying, it doesn't work for everybody.
It doesn't. And like, but the thing is that like I was properly guided on a couple of those trips. Like I had the right influences and surroundings and people with me. And, you know, you can learn a lot like that. But if you do it in a negative environment, I mean, it begets a negative trip. And like, I mean, bad trips are rough, but bad trips are sometimes good. Bad trip, like all things, right? Balance, man. Like one bad trip isn't indicative of how bad it could be, you know, all the time, or like it's not indicative of how good it could be either.
Depending on what you're taking, if it's a plant, like the soil it was grown in, the amount of sunlight, flower, any kind of like
your mental going into those things are crazy. If you're very unsure of yourself, you're probably gonna ride down a bad road.
I can relate it to like drinking, and I'm like, all right, if I'm gonna drink today, I need to make sure I eat 3 meals.
Yeah,
I have to double hydrate.
Yeah,
I have to do this checklist, and if by 5 o'clock I haven't met those terms, like I'm not gonna drink. Yeah, and like that's where I'm at in my life right now, and even if I do meet those terms, it's just like I'm probably not gonna drink.
Yeah, good.
but like it's different drinking than it is taking a psychedelic.
Yeah. And so but you kind of almost have to go into it with a similar mentality. You have to mentally prepare and physically prepare. Like if you go into it severely dehydrated, you're going to have a different kind of trip. Yeah. If you go into it well hydrated, but with food in you, you could like shit your brains out, or you could throw it all up, because sometimes your body doesn't want all that extra like mass. Sometimes you just want to be cleansed out, man.
And I took shrooms one time, and I walked to the park, and I thought I was going to shit my pants. So we walked home and I was fine.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a pretty common feeling with mushrooms and acid.
Yeah, I found that I do not like to be in dark rooms alone.
Yeah, so you just had a bad trip.
I thought everybody was coming out to the garage, and it was not.
I was wondering what made you think about the bad trip.
I did a couple times. It was fine. I mean, nothing like I was like, oh man, this is so cool. Like, yeah. But then like I didn't really. I probably should have taken more, and I should have taken it all right away and not been a little like everyone's like, oh, you gotta be careful, and I was too careful.
Yeah. And you know what though? That's environment though. Like that all relates back to environment. Yeah. I think if you would have had a more like a positive influence around the experience and treated it with more respect. That's one big thing with drugs. Did you just fart?
No, I rolled back in the chair.
My bad. I was like,
I'm not a butt party though. I'm just about it. But
so I'm just, like I think checking on your prostate. I think checking on your brain every couple years now for me, like just to keep it, I don't know, keep it fresh. Sometimes you don't know what changes on the precipice of your own personal development.
Yeah.
That's how I feel about like psychedelic drugs. Like sometimes they open that door for you to find the answer to a question you didn't even know you were asking about yourself.
Yeah, I see that being far more useful than shutting it out completely. Like at least
that's what I'm saying.
If it's good for you, and it works for you, and you're successful using this, it makes the door kind of open for me, and it makes me think about it. Because I mean, I have to, but at least you're getting the use out of it that it was, maybe intended for. Or
I think that's 100% what
our agents. Well,
I think.
But if you go back to what we were talking about with Brian Cox, I think his name is, the physicist on the Joe Rogan show. This guy said that we were mush at one point.
Yeah.
Meaning that everything on Earth at one point was either mush or some kind of atoms and molecules developing. Wouldn't that just be the same for anything else on the planet, where it's like it wasn't intended for us to use anything because nothing was intended for us? It just is like we're all like just this weird moss.
Oh, I mean that's it's
like a deep part of it. But like I mean, like why is that intended to do that?
I think I think sometimes there's certain things that are catalysts, right? Like I like food is a catalyst for energy.
This is like a finicky thing because now you're telling me like it's like almost like a faded thing, where it's like no, food exists because like there's many ways. I mean, it's weird because we can't do it without the other, and it's like an ecosystem.
That's what I mean. So like we are in a physical presence. We are a physical representation of this world. If you think that all of your thoughts and everything, I don't know where you think they come from. They obviously come from somewhere. But like, you ever have like an idea and it felt like it just came out of thin air? I don't know what I'm trying to explain right now. What I'm trying to say is that like what I believe is that we're spiritually connected, like no other. I think there's a strong relation between living and non-living things, spiritual presence and form in multiple things.
I honestly think that physicist had a bigger impact on my whole thought process than I originally thought.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
thought it had a real, because like where I'm at is like science wins, man.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying he's right, nor
I
that's
think
my
they
decision.
go. I think it goes hand in hand. That's what I'm saying. I think there's science within the spirituality. I think that we can't prove a human soul.
I just really think that humans are very intuitive at engineering. We're very good, and we could use that same like drug to do something different if we really wanted to do.
But I think
we can.
But you're saying humans so broadly, and I think that's the thing that's crazy because humans are so individual. Like we're very individual. Each one of us is very different. Like I'm not gonna like fuck with chimps or like fuck with the lesser primates, but for the most part, they're not like they might be unique, each and every one of them with their own fingerprints and set, but like none of them do anything more crazy than the other chimp did. Humans constantly one up each other.
Yeah,
we're doing crazy shit on a massive level, like all the time compared in history, right? Like nothing else acts like us. So why would we sit here and say that like we're not? I think we have to be special because that's like my just love for the world, right?
Yeah.
And I think it's all kind of related, connected. We're coming from a growing consciousness that keeps moving toward one direction. Like that's what we're born and bred for, and we die for, and send our seed, and like the next generation starts and it does it again, and we're like be better than the last time, and like that is so deep inside of us. Why wouldn't?
Because I get it.
For me, it's like why wouldn't it translate? Like why wouldn't it translate to being a whole spiritual world, like a whole world of like a deeper consciousness that we're related to everything? Because like as our Earth dies, look what's happening to us. As literally as we kill our own Earth, we start to see more hurricanes. We've had how many storms of a century in the last 20 years?
Yeah, I mean, people used to say, "Oh, we just got the technology to see it now." I was on that bandwagon for a while. That like it was always happening. We just never saw it yet. We couldn't hear all the news and everything.
No, I think that shit was. I think this shit is like way worse than it's ever been.
It very well could be, but
methane level. I mean, like all these levels are high, right?
And I bet science can explain a lot of it.
I'm sure.
And like having the stuff
to
in the atmosphere and the things, and like maybe it is the solar system going where we are and other stuff.
The climate changes. We could just be going through a really big global cooling.
Well, like I definitely see a change. I don't know where everybody else is on the earth right now, but like where we are in Michigan, the winter time has shifted from like snowing in October, November to not snowing to December, January. Like no snow. We had snow on Halloween and it didn't stick for that period of time. And so like there's a shift in the seasons. It is like slowly happening. Maybe every year it's like 3 days, I feel like. And maybe I'm just completely like stuck in my mind and that's what I want to believe.
Right.
I want a summer birthday. Yeah. It's coming.
September.
Like 20 years.
Oh, wait, December.
November.
I'm sorry.
Well, it's the 29th.
Just threw out a bunch of months and eventually one.
Yeah, 1 out of 12.
Man, I think we totally veered off track from aliens, but
I hit a lot of good topics, so I think.
Psychedelics are something I like to expand more on because I feel like you have a misunderstanding, and I think that maybe I have a misunderstanding. Okay, but we should definitely talk more.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit more research into it and kind of figure out a little bit more because, like, I have a very weak knowledge of it. Yeah, and it's hard for me to speak to.
I think there's a really big lack of respect for them in our country because of the way we're talking about them.
I know Native American, and that's another thing is who writes the history book gets to choose how we feel.
Who wrote our
the people that did the books, the history books, politics, religion.
Yeah,
and so like those choosing what we're taught. I mean, think about it. If you go to another country, and this country is a bad country, and you want to help them, but like all their textbooks are teaching like different history than ours. Their maps have different sized countries and different, like nothing's like actually and then like the politics all messed up, and like religion is tough, and if they have like a strong religion it usually is helpful, but sometimes it's not because then it's an excuse to just do stupid things, and that's across the board. It's across the board for thousands of years. Like, how many times do we have to go looking for the Holy Grail or the Crusades and just people because they're seeking glory to get some booty?
Yeah. I mean, dude, that's how I really feel, bro. Like, man, men do so much dumb shit. Like, we just want the booty.
And we want the family, we want the house, we want to have...
But that's ingrained. Yeah. That's ingrained into, like...
And did that come from these aliens?
Yeah.
Because, like, okay, I want to be that guy. Yeah. He gets this castle built for him. He's got this monument built out of
travel
gold.
Around the galaxy.
He just comes and goes. And
look how flashy.
And like to them, they're just like the cargo team. You know, shipping stuff back and forth.
But they're like, if I can overthrow that guy, like maybe I'm getting a little smarter. Maybe like my
how many attempts on these alien lives when they're just like,
yeah, right. Like, but how many until we figured it out?
Because like, okay, what's the technology there? You're throwing a spear, bow and arrow. Probably. Like you can maybe get them like quietly. Because like it may like what kind of
maybe you figured out their weakness, maybe you figured out.
But maybe it's like, dude, this is a good relationship.
Yeah.
Like why are we symbiotic or whatever?
Because no human ever wanted to stay a slave.
But like you don't have to be, I'm not saying that they're necessarily enslaved.
Yeah.
If they're like, hey, we'll give you some seeds. I don't know enough. No,
I don't think it ever becomes enough.
But
you know what I mean?
Like South America is not known for their bargaining. Okay.
I mean, aren't they?
No, they like traded like tons of stuff to the English and the Spanish.
Well, okay, if they didn't know what they were signing. That was just some shit.
That's what I'm saying.
They're like, hey, we claim this land. They're like, oh, we'll share with you. Like, no, it's ours. Here's some money.
Oh,
here's some stuff that didn't mean anything to you. It's a piece of paper that the $23 from Manhattan or something like that.
I mean, yeah, if you go down to South America, I know it was real bad. Like like it was English.
I think we just took
Columbus English, or did you get sent by the Spanish?
Spanish.
So you do because he got turned down by English.
Oh, that's all I've been. That's what the whole the civilization before.
I can't believe we have a Columbus Day. Why do we have a fake holiday? Come on.
That means we should have a Viking Day. They discovered North America.
Like anything. Get out of here. Let's be accurate. In,
well, I mean,
keeping things like that we know are just like false. Like you're literally taught that Columbus did not. Did not.
He didn't do it.
And why are we taught his name? Because our grandparents were taught his name?
Yeah, exactly.
Like how many generations?
We'll get them. I'm telling you, like, it gets better every generation. It just has to. Because, look, we're coming out of the age of conformity. Like, no offense, boomers, but your thoughts are 80 years old. The world's fucking changed, dude. Like, and I'll be able to sit there when I'm 70, 80 years old and go, Here's your world now. Like it's yours to change and mold.
And the fact that like
it down.
Look at what people have done with technology.
Yeah.
Look at what we're doing right now. Like
Yeah.
it's crazy, and you're gonna say that like the millennials are so weak, and
Yeah.
you're like, okay, man, go watch your, go listen to your radio.
Yeah,
and your
like
3 channels.
We literally evolved everything.
You know, my dad listened to boxing matches on the radio for
Crazy.
entertainment. You know what they also did? They played outside a hell of the time.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
I mean, the main form of transportation 5 generations ago was horses.
Yeah.
And now we're at like automobiles and trying to get back to Mars on a regular basis.
I mean, when was like,
I mean, the moon, Mars.
You know, even like just like a tire for like a bicycle.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, those inventions weren't always there. Like, you're walking. Could you imagine walking everywhere? Guess what? Everything's gonna be real tight together. We're not going too far. We got to be able to protect our communities. So we're gonna live kind of like way close together.
Yeah.
You know, and like
that's how cities start up.
And then you have to expand from there.
Yeah.
And then they're like, well, fuck, we gotta upgrade this building. We gotta upgrade this building. We gotta upgrade this building. If you can build up, you're saving space. Business, baby.
And it looks like a dick, and that's cool too.
Yeah, it's always fun, especially if you get 2 little ones.
Yeah.
One like that. I don't know that movie title, but man, it was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was. I think we definitely talked around the alien thing a bit.
We can always circle back to it. I think we have a lot of perspective on a lot of areas, and we're just trying to share, and I love it. So,
yeah, I'm happy with it too.
Yeah, I mean, we hit 3 topics, and we didn't even mean to, but that was the game plan usually.
Yeah, we're just gonna come in with like something loose and just kind of bullshit. You know, that's
you'll get to know after listening to us. Our topics are a loose topic, and we're just gonna tell you what we think and try and keep it, on the real.
Yeah, that's cool. So
remember, next week we are doing Wednesday or Thursday. We haven't decided officially, but I think we were leaning on Wednesday.
Wednesday sounds good to me.
He's got some birthdays. Happy birthday.
Thanks,
and thanks for listening. Where can they find us?
Oh, they can find us at Korp Podcast on Spotify.
Yeah, Spotify.
And then we got, what is this? Anchor.fm.
Well, Anchor, you'll probably use it through the Spotify. You'll catch it through all your apps.
Yeah.
And then we're live on YouTube, and we'll upload the YouTube after this.
Yep.
If you have any questions,
send us an email at deancorppodcast@gmail.com.
There we go.
And then we need to get a Twitter set up.
Yeah.
Or something like that. I haven't added social
media. We'll get some social set up. We're getting close to our 10th episode, and that's really the jump off point for us. So if you're still listening, thank you. Have a good weekend.
Have a good weekend, guys. Thanks.